Izzy. I think this was a brilliant piece. I thought it was really smart that we start off right in the action with a very anticlimactic beginning, at least for our lead character. And then that starts the trajectory towards her climax of anger, that very cathartic rage. And to start off with a scenario that encapsulates that kind of patriarchal lack of care for women and their feelings, or their even equal respect in the workplace, in the home, and relationships and pleasure. Um, so to have that build up until she finally gets that release in anger and frustration, in honesty, in response to all of these scenarios, that was brilliant. They really mastered the tension and release, which is so important, especially in a short but sweet piece. I also thought the acting was spot on, and the writing was very cheeky. And unfortunately, those are some conversations that I have heard before. So pieces like this will be very relatable and cathartic for some viewers, and maybe a little learning lesson for the other viewers.
Izzy. Cinematography was really, really good. And I loved that first top down shot. I thought that was really creative. I think the actors did fabulously. The very first jump cut that we had, I was a little bit confused. I wasn't sure what was going on. But then as we did more jump cuts, I was on board with that. So that was fine. I loved a lot of the creativity that they did with the camera angles and how relatable the story was. Because I think any woman can be like, oh, yeah, I got that. The special effects about the exploding, that was really, really well done. So, yeah, I liked this. I thought they did a great job on it.
I think Izzy is every woman. She could definitely represent every woman, where most of us just bite our tongues when we want to scream out. And the effects on the when she does are phenomenal, where everybody turns into glitter, red glitter, like they exploded. Where she has that power when she finally stands up and they just explode. But really, that metaphor where we wish we could just speak up when really we're and take the power back is one that a lot of women struggle with, and she embodies that so well. The actress that played her did it so well, where you could see the look on her face, where it's that frustration, where you're like, should I speak up or should I not? When people are just so vapid in how they're talking, and they don't realize they're annoying the hell out of you. And a lot of times, it's how a lot of women do feel. And Izzy embodied that perfectly, the way she was played. It was a perfect portrayal of a lot of us and what we go through. And I really did enjoy that explosion of where that inner voice just comes out and takes the world back for herself. It was a very powerful movement.
Izzy is stuck in a similar cycle, like day in and day out. We get to see Izzy throughout their day, and it starts with this mature sex scene where she's with a partner, he gets off, she's left unsatisfied, and it really creates these beautiful dynamics that we face in our day-to-day lives. Being pushed to hustle and do all the work at your job, to satisfy your partner but not have the place to satisfy yourself. And you see this, sensory of being dismissed, ignored, or even forgotten about. And this director pretty much builds up this pending rage that ensues. And when this character decides to enrage and have this sense of banshee-like screaming. You expect a more gory aftermath as you see everybody burst around this character, and then you see that it's just a touch of red glitter. And when you get to see this sort of unfold, it's sort of interesting how you see this character react to this. It's not a sense of satisfaction in the moment. It's sort of this sense of desensitization that the character faces. You see it as the character sort of just swipes away some glitter and gets back to work, and continues on, which, puts a beautiful notion to how we're sort of forced into the hustle culture to keep working despite all of the horrible things that could be going on around us. And I really like the way that this film ends. Like I said, this gives this sort of bookend appeal. We see this character with this person in the beginning feeling this sense of not being satisfied, only to find in the end, as Izzy is giving herself self-pleasure, she finally reaches this state of pleasure, finding it all within herself all along, which is just a really powerful way to sort of reclaim that power and bring it back into your own hands. And you get just as much satisfaction as the main character does.